Winter holds much of Alaska in a tight embrace for 8 months of the year. Temperatures drop so far below zero that moisture in the air turns to ice crystals, which seem to dance during the twilight hours of deepest winter. It is March. For creatures who must make their living during winter, the caribou who wander ceaselessly over the vast subarctic forests, the snowshoe rabbit whose color and eating habits change with the season, and the shy willow ptarmigan whose camouflage of winter feathers provides a measure of security. This time is one of quiet desperation. Food is scarce and predators are plenty. As the months of winter pass, the Earth tilts on its axis toward the sun, bringing longer days and new warmth to the frozen land. By late May or early June, spring breaks winter's icy grip on Alaska's lakes and waterways with a noisy release. As the sun pours its warmth on the land, water is released from ice and snow, awakening the dormant roots of plants from their winter sleep. The stirrings of new life are everywhere in the land, ready to burst forth in the ever-widening spring. The winged heralds of summer fill the air with notice that the season of renewal has arrived. As June turns into July, the days lengthen as the sun seems to hang in the sky. Where remnants of the Ice Age still shape the land, moving rivers of ice shed themselves into waiting oceans during the heat of the summer sun. Icebergs and bits calved from thousands of glaciers provide resting places for birds and marine mammals. They too relish the feel of the warm hand of summer. Along the 39,000-mile coastline of Alaska, summer brings the return of 5 species of salmon from their open ocean migration. Having left fresh water several years ago, they return to the same streams from which they were hatched to continue the grand design of nature. Man, too, comes to these coastal streams following a seasonal call that is as old as humankind. For those who choose to move about the land, perhaps the call stems from our nomadic past. The sense of renewal that occurs in an encounter with pristine nature is a link to our heritage and reminds us of our close relationship to the land and all life forms. As the summer sun washes over the land during the long daylight hours of summer that may last 24 hours, plant life seems to burst from the earth. The large mammals welcome the opportunity to replenish themselves from winter past and to prepare for the inevitable season of cold and darkness to come. Among the high mountains of Alaska's interior, the nomads of the north, the caribou, migrate with the rhythm of the season to browse the vast subarctic wilderness. Their ceaseless wanderings will take them over thousands of square miles during the short season of summer. By mid-July, the green of summer has spread from the lowlands to high mountain ridges, where dull sheep feed on a shallow carpet of delicate flowering plants and grasses that form a thin veneer over frozen soil. This sparse, windswept habitat offers the sheep a refuge from predators and severe consequences for any misstep. In the relative safety of these high mountains, the ewes and their young live apart from the rams. Lambs form into nursery groups, and through the medium of play, hone their skills of escape and develop the traits of dominance that will perpetuate the strengths of their species. Only at the sign of danger do the groups coalesce to find strength in numbers and safety by following the dominant ram. Within the awesome landscape of this vast wilderness of towering mountains and deep valleys, summer brings forth a miniature world in a microclimate all its own. Reaching just a few inches high and forming a thin carpet of life, the delicate plant life of Alaska enjoys temperatures 20 to 30 degrees warmer than the atmosphere above. The growth of these delicate tundra plants is only possible because the heat of long summer days is captured and retained in the vegetation at ground level. The survival of animal life depends upon the success of life in this tiny climate. So small are the blossoms of these delicate flowers that it would take many of them to cover a fingernail. High above the miniature world of plants, eagles soar on updrafts of warm air, keeping watch over a land being constantly transformed by the soft hand of summer. Summer seems little more than a moment in the cycle of life in Alaska. The cold, crisp winds of early September bring fall colors to the landscape, and in the splash of red and yellow, there is a heightened anticipation in the air for the long season to come. A new snow dusts the mountaintops. Old leaves fall, providing a protective cover for plants and tree roots against the probing fingers of winter. For a brief time, the glow of summer is reflected back from the colorful palette of nature. Time is short now, and in a final push to store food for winter, animals feed voraciously during the fading flame of summer. In the forested lowlands, bull moose carry out their September rituals by testing one another for dominance in light sparring matches. The size of the rack of horns a bull moose carries is a symbol of rank to others. It is most often among those of similar horn size that fighting occurs. These contests are brief and rarely result in serious injury. For moose, fighting is the final and most serious means of settling questions of dominance. Nights become longer, and the air takes on an increasingly crisp edge. The brief period of autumn comes to a close. The seeds of new life have been released and planted. All life is prepared to meet the uncertainty of winter. Winter descends, gently at first, with softly falling snowflakes. Then mounts a furious assault on the land in a hail of driving snow and ice. task of all life is to face the next 7 months of deep snow and severe cold until the time of renewal.